Hey guys, this is Rob John Webb here for Waxadisc, and what I'm going to show you today is some of the edits that I've done over the years, starting with one that I've got right here. I'm going to do a load of series of them where I'm going to break it down for you and show you how I've done all the edits and the little tips and tricks that are required to make an edit, to make it stand out and make it your own sort of stamp as well. So rather than just doing straightforward loop based stuff, it's going to be, you know, going into depth with the sounds I use, the synths I use, etc, etc. So the first one that I've got here is a track by a group called Double, which was an 80s band, and they did a track called The Captain of Her Heart, which was a big pop record in the mid-80s. So it's kind of more on the synthwave sort of side of things rather than a disco, but it's still nevertheless an edit. So I'm going to show you all the key tips and tricks and the techniques that I've used and so forth, and break it down for you. It's a bit of an epic. It's quite a long track, but it's something that I released a few years ago, and it came out on Midnight Riot Records. So if you're familiar with that label, you'll know the kind of thing they released. It was one of their Balearic albums that it came out on. So I'm going to skip through it, and I'm going to show you the bits and bobs that I've done and how to do it, and then you can use these techniques and tricks to implement into your own tracks. So here we go. I'm just going to break it down bit by bit rather than go through the whole thing. You know, it's a very moody track, but I add a lot of disco elements to it. Where the main part comes in. So what we've got there is obviously a lot of the, you know, synthwave sort of sounds and stuff, but I've also, with that lead line, I've also put a disco sort of vibe into it, you know, that kind of thing. So first things first, with an edit, what you got to do is you've got to kind of get the original track. So I'm going to get the original riff loops here, which I've taken from the original recording, and it's just that backbeat, that there. Looped it on one note, which is on the the B flat. So the first thing to do is, when you make an edit, is find the root notes of the chords and the arrangement of it and the bass notes and stuff. And if you struggle with that, then the only way to do it is to go on a website called chordify.net, I think it is, and they play the track in there. So you type in what track you want, and it comes from a YouTube video. So for example, if you're struggling and you want to find out the notes of this, it plays along the chords of that track as it plays the YouTube video. It's quite clever. And then you can just jot them down and write them down. And then you can start working out the bass notes for the verses and the bass for the chorus, and the chords itself. Obviously, you can get chords arrangements from any website. You know, like you get a lot of guitar tab websites. So that's what that bit is there. So you've got the bass playing over that that little loop there from the original. It's all a flat note, look, and you see, until it gets here, that it changes. So it's a flat note of A, B sharp, B flat, A sharp. So in that case, therefore, the chords itself, if we look at my pads, we look at the pads here, where are we? Where's the main pad here? So the pad for that would be in here, and there it is, look. So it's like it's almost like an E minor sort of, an E minor 7 sort of chord, but it's not. So let me just check that is, there you go, look. So it's just those 4 notes held down. So it's almost like a B flat minor 7, I think. I'm not too familiar with that. So I've just held those down. And then the bass changes. Because then it goes into the verses, you see. So if I put on the loop, the beat, and then the riff vocals, so the vocal delays here, look. And that's where the bass note drops from the B flat to the F sharp G flat. Now, obviously I worked that out myself, but obviously you can work that out through things like Chordify. But what I've done with the vocal, because I've not spliced this, I've not taken the stems of it and split it, you know, I can get with audio software. I did this a couple of years ago now. So all I've done with the vocal, it's in its original form.
It was way past midnight,
There you go.
and you still couldn't fall asleep. This night the dream was leaving. She tried so hard to keep.
So basically all I've done there with that vocal is I've put an EQ8 on it and took all of the bottom end out so that it takes away all of the bass and it just leaves you with that vocal. And I put a load of delay on it, really gone heavy on the delay, quite a lot, 40%, 60% on the feedback. And then it gives it that rollover feel that you need. And then when you couple it over with beats,
It was way past midnight.
and these are just drum loops pretty much. Well, this one is the bass, sorry, the beat I use is Mary Jane Girls all night long. And I've just put some hi-hats on here, look. And they're from just the drum racks, just some drum rack samples I've got. And then we've got on top of that the bass, then the vocal, and but we've still got the loops of the original loop.
It was way past midnight, and you still couldn't fall asleep.
So that's the verse bit really. I wanted to use the verses, but with an edit you don't want to use the chorus as such. It's not really a great idea to use the chorus. That's the whole point of an edit. So it's almost like a dub version in a way. So this bit, the main part of the original is the piano riff, which is this. It's a really nice riff. So then I worked out the piano riff of that and the chords of that. That's the original, by the way. And then I got some pads, worked out what the chords were from the website Chordify as such, and it's there. Look, so you've got like it's an E minor 7 with a C, and then it's A minor 7 with an A. So it's a natural A minor 7, and that's for the main part. So I took the piano riff but left out the original vocals, you see. So it goes. And then it drops again there to another one, which is, it goes, hold on, let me look at this. And then it goes up to a C minor 7 with a G sharp root. And then it goes to a F, G, A sharp, so it's a G minor 7 with a B flat root. There you go. They are. So there's the chords for the chorus. So I wanted to leave the original vocal out, as I say, because it just didn't want to be doing the same as the original. So then obviously with that, what you do is then take the bass notes of the root notes of the chords. So in this case it was C, A, G sharp and B flat. So that was that bit. Okay, so then we go over to the next part of the track where we repeat the first part. So we repeat this part, but we put on something extra like some sort of arpeggio, which I think is this one. That's it. And with that arpeggio, I added a lot of delay, and I just played those notes, which was the original 4 that we said on at the beginning, which was down here on the pads, which was those, the A sharp, B flat, G sharp, C and D sharp. So I've just played those on that riff there, but just gone like this. Look, let me just get the chord up and just played them, like arpeggiated them. And I've stuck an arpeggio on there as well, I think. Anyway, have I not? No, I've not. I've just literally gone and played them and put loads of delay on and filtered them up. So I'm obviously on 2 octaves there, so it's like a scorpion octave. And just that's all I've done with it. You could stick an arpeggio on, and it filters up. And then repeat. Drop it out, repeat. And I just played that in using the notes of the chord. So I wanted to add that kind of disco feel to it. And that comes from the Tal Noisemaker. Down again, you see, so it's kind of like building up, dropping, building up, dropping. Obviously, as I said, this is a very different sort of edit that I've done compared to my disco stuff. So I suppose really the thing with this is that to create something like this, you want to get all of the chords, get the structure of it, get the main like kind of verse loop without the vocals, obviously, and loop that, work the bass line out around that, and then start to put on some of the original vocal. I mean, you could use lala.ai to splice the vocal away from the vocals as well. Now, I didn't do that in this case. But then start layering it with, you know, warmer pads and some percussion, a few whoosh noises. I mean, I've got some basic sort of rise noises here, just to give it atmosphere. And then I think I've got an actual piano in there here, look, as well. I put an actual piano riff in there as well. And they're the chords, they're them. So they come in there as well with the bass. And then the little riff in there, look. A bit housey. Fade it out and bring, you know, fade down the arpeggio. Fade the pads down at the end. And then it drops out into beats and goes back to the start. So you repeat the beginning at the end. And then just little things like little tiny little drum claps, like the Oberheim claps in there, look. Let's just loop them. So here, look, just tiny little snippets of. And just build a very simple pattern. You don't have to be sophisticated with your drums. So all that is, it's all the beats are. And a crash, white noise. So yeah, so that's that really. So as I say, in terms of doing an edit like this, so like a pop edit, obviously you've got to think, right, get the beats down, get a very simple drum loop, time up the original loop, get it tight as you can, filter the loop in. So if you look at this loop here that I've got here, it's filtering in all the time though. Just filtered in from the start all the way, drops again. Now the bass comes in. The bass I've used is from the mouse synth, which is another 3 synth, and that's a really cool little bass. It's just down here. Very simple, very straightforward, nothing clever. So that's it really, that's all I can offer you on that one. So if you want to do some sort of pop remix, you know, like a pop edit sort of thing, a Balearic kind of thing, then by all means, you know, beats, very simple beats, a simple kind of synth bass line, you know, kind of arpeggiated. Get a little arpeggio in there, loads of delay. Chop up the vocals, leave out the chorus. I think that's quite key in a lot of songs, and it makes it a little bit more dubby. And then layer it with pads, and then get a funky lead line in there to give it a little bit more of a boost. And just kind of, I mean, this is quite dubby, so you know, I've tripped the hell out of it with delays and reverbs and stuff. So yeah, so take from this what you will. And go and listen to the original final version where I released on Midnight Riot, and the link below, and you'll see that, and you can hear the track in its full glory. Anything you want to know, just ask me, just email me, or leave a comment in the box below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will do another edits video next week where I'll do something a little bit more disco-y. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.